Okay, welcome everyone to another Cosmic Rose Honey meditation and community gathering experience. So, as I just mentioned, we will begin by opening the floor up to any questions that you may have coming up on your spiritual journey, on your personal healing journey, on your Kundalini journey. Anything that you want support on, that you want to be witnessed in, just feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question, and we'll go from person to person. Cool.
Hi, Ella. Oh
Hi,
my gosh.
Delphine. Hello. How are you?
Hi. So good. I
Yay.
am back in Sedona, and it's so
Yes.
magical to be back in this space and also seeing familiar faces that we did ceremony
Yes.
together. Like, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
recognize Billy and Christian, so this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm not sure. Maybe questions will come up at the end of the share, but I just wanted to say thank you, express my gratitude. And since the ceremony, it's been a whole another layer and experience of really surrendering and letting go of
Mm-hmm.
like even the planning, like in micro moments of
Yeah.
planning and like thinking ahead. And that has been bringing a lot of really beautiful synchronicities that could just not be planned, right?
Wow.
So I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
thank you. Yeah.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing that. What a beautiful testament to the magical synchronicities and things that get to happen. As you said, when we just kind of go with the flow, we surrender, we let go of the plans, and we start to witness again the force of the mother, this divine intelligence. It's so smart. It knows
Yeah.
exactly where to guide us, it knows exactly what to give to us next. And the more that we create the space for it, I
Um,
often say it's like the space for grace, right? Because when we are
yeah.
trying to control, there's literally no space. And then it almost becomes like this perpetuating cycle where we're like, oh, there's nothing out there supporting me. I've got to be the only one in control. I've got to do all the thing. And then we keep on doing that more and more. And then there's just no space for the grace to come in. So it's lovely that you're creating
Mhm.
that space, that surrender to be moved by the flow of the divine.
Totally. And okay, so the question did come up.
Mm-hmm.
What I am moving through now is so having experienced the Divine Mother energy, and now I'm a Reiki teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and so primarily work with Holy Fire, Reiki energy. So in that, always calling upon the divine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of me that's like a little bit confused, and I'm sure like this comes from the mind too, but like the divine energy that I work with during Holy Fire, it always felt kind of neutral, but also in a way I felt it more as like a masculine energy.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas now, okay, now there's a divine mother energy. So when I allow myself to be in surrender and like the divine energy to move through me, I'm like, do I call upon the divine mother or the divine like holy fire Reiki energy, and how to merge the two together and like work with the kind of a different nuances of energy.
Yeah, really great question. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And one thing I would say is that, every single modality, if you will, every different form of energy healing, even Kundalini, at the core of it, they are all different pathways back to the same source. And when we're
Mhm.
working with the source energy, there's also the two different facets of it, right? So we have the divine masculine, the divine father, the more consciousness, the stillness, the neutrality, the infinite peace rippling upon itself. And we also have the divine mother energy, which is the Shakti, which is a bit more dynamic. It's a bit more dancey. It's a bit more movement. Again, there are two sides of the very same coin. And what I would say is to listen to your heart, because your heart is the direct portal to the divine. It's your
Mhm.
direct portal to that divine connection with the mother, with the father. And your heart is going to inform you at every stage of your journey what's the best way to connect to the divine. So,
Mhm.
for myself, for example, when I first started working with, Kundalini, the aspect of divine mother didn't really come in as much. It was really in the last year, I would say, that the Divine Mothers like call upon me directly, work directly with me, and I just kind of follow the different nudges. But in the beginning, it
Mhm,
was just Kundalini life force. That feels really good for me to call upon at this moment. So
mhm,
whatever you feel like, if you're feeling that connection to the mother energy, you can feel the nurturing, the dance, like the joy of it, the bliss of it, and you want to call that in your practice, simply open yourself up to it. And the biggest thing is opening up a space of dialogue that
mhm,
allows that relationship with the mother to continuously expand, right? So,
mhm,
not needing to know, okay, exactly how do I do it, but it's like, I'm open, Divine Mother. Please show me, please guide
mhm,
me on how to best share your energy, your frequency with the world, and you will be guided as to the
mhm,
how, as to the experience of it coming through your body as well. So, yeah, I think there's definitely a reason if you feel called to the mother energy, just
mhm,
play with
mhm,
it. And the best thing is that each and every moment in our lives, especially when you do have a healing practice and you're facilitating and holding space for other people, like that's your mystery school. That's your experimental playground, which is really great because you follow what's true for you in this moment. You receive the feedback in your body, the sensations, and you can go from there. Okay, how do I want to further deepen and nurture this connection?
mhm, mhm. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for asking.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you. So good. Hey Ashley, I see that you just joined. We're just doing some open Q&A. So if you have any questions or anything pertaining to your personal journey, your Kundalini journey, spiritual
Yeah,
journey, this is a space to chat about it.
I have a question.
Yes, fella. Hello.
Yeah, so at the beginning of my Kundalini spontaneous, I have a spontaneous Kundalini for more than a year till now,
Mm-hmm.
and but in the beginning of this process, I have noticed that I was so much worried. Where, when is this going to end? I mean, the Kriyas, the crying. I was so much worried about the timing. But these days, what I've noticed is that I'm okay with that. I noticed that
Mm,
it's okay, even if it lasts even for a longer period. This is what I have more acceptance. So my question is, does this have a meaning? I mean,
mm,
what does it mean? And does it mean that I'm on doing the right thing? Because
mm-hmm.
I have more acceptance with the
Yeah.
process. I'm not feeling in a
Yeah.
rush anymore.
That's beautiful. Really want to celebrate you and honor you and witness you for that. Because I remember even just, what was it, like a month or two ago, I think you had asked the question of like, when is this going to be over? When am I going to get out of this? That's amazing to hear that you're feeling like you're in full acceptance and flow with the process. So, yeah, more and more we're going to find, again, the parts of us that want to understand the exact meaning, the right or wrong, is this the right path? That part is so valid. And whenever that part comes up, I think one thing that'll be really supportive for you in your journey is noticing when that part comes up, wanting to understand why, or is this on the right path, or what does this mean? And first of all, just letting that part of you know, I see you, right? I see you and I see the way that you're holding me through this process. I see the way that you're wanting me to improve. And so also knowing that, the fact that you're experiencing greater acceptance, that's beautiful, right? That's part of the spiritual journey, is that you're expanding in your self compassion, you're expanding in your acceptance with where you're at, and that's wonderful. It can definitely, show that you're deepening in your process. But what I also want to normalize is that the spiritual journey is ever deepening. Today, on one of my other calls from my training too, my clients and I were just speaking about how the journey is like a giant spiral. Right. So it's like we have moments where it's like, oh, crying, the Kriyas are so intense and it's so painful. And then moments where we have the greater acceptance and it's amazing and we feel the bliss and the expansion. And there might be certain moments where we feel, ooh, like something else just got triggered, or I'm being met with like the heaviness or some discomfort. So what I would say is that all of that is so valid. All of that is part of the spiritual practice. The fact that you're expanding your acceptance with everything that is happening, that's amazing, right? So, really celebrating yourself and celebrating your devotion to your practice that is allowing you to feel that. And if there are days down the road where you feel like, you know what, like I am feeling a little bit impatient, or that part is getting a little bit loud or judgy, like, am I going backwards and stuff? that too is a part of the process. That too is right? So what I'm saying is that the part that wants to know, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this good? Is this bad? It's like everything you are experiencing is valid. Everything you are experiencing is right? Even the need to control and wondering, like, when is this going to be over? Can I get away from this faster? That part is a valid part of your spiritual process. The part that is coming up now and saying, I'm in acceptance, I'm in the flow of it, that's beautiful. That part is right too. So more and more we want to expand our capacity to hold all the different facets of this journey without needing to know, is this good, is this bad, is this right, is this, if this is wrong, but really holding that full acceptance for everything that we feel: the impatience, the frustration, the joy, the bliss, the acceptance, the peace, the crying, the laughing, the shaking, the twirling, the not moving, all of it. Does that make sense? I kind of like answered it in like
Yeah, so much.
non-directly, but kind of, but I felt like that message around just
Yeah,
holding full acceptance for the full journey is really important.
yeah, I felt the channeling, like things are happening through you, and that's what I appreciate most. Thank you so much, Ella.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you. Amazing. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions before we move into our meditation? If not,
Can I
it's
ask you something
oh,
quickly?
Christian. Yes. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us and your time.
Yeah.
But I guess quickly maybe since maybe we don't have a lot of time, but I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to, I guess, like how was something like when you don't feel quite aligned with maybe like what the universe might be telling you and what your heart is feeling sometimes, and it makes like it really hard to make decisions properly. Like you kind of get locked in that decision making process. I
Mm-hmm.
was wondering if you could maybe speak a little bit to that. Like what are your
Do you
thoughts on
have
stuff
a
like that?
specific example that you feel comfortable sharing, or just even like an asking for a friend kind of example of like what that could be like, so I can speak to that specifically?
I do have an example that comes to mind, but it's kind of something that's been happening over like a span of months. Like, and I don't know how quickly I could tell the story. Maybe like 5 minutes. I don't know.
Okay.
It's yeah.
We're going to 6:45. Okay, we should have 5 minutes. Yes, if you want to run us through really quickly. We'll get started at like 6:22-ish for a meditation, so we'll be right on time for 6:45.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. But so yeah, like for no, like right now I'm a student and was kind of exploring a lot of things. Like I studied science, I studied, history, like art and like Eastern philosophy too. But I was doing this research project for the past like couple of months, and it was basically like trying to uncover like stress among students in universities. And through that, I ended up creating this workshop. This workshop was basically like to work with psychologists and to help students kind of create a space to like vent and meet other people and like to help each other. And so it was like a part of a class, and but I split off from the class and decided to make this thing on my own. And as I was going about it in the first stages, like a lot of people were really on board with it. Like it felt like I was getting a lot of good feedback and I wasn't really necessarily asking for it. Like people would come up to me and they would tell me like, "Oh, I'd really love to do this. It sounds really good." But then when it started, like I had everything together. I had the spaces, I had the psychologist. Like when it started, like no one would show up, and I knew this was like a natural process, but this just like kept happening over and over again. And I kept like trying to talk to psychologists, and I kept just like everyone in the class, for example, like ghosted me and something like that. Like I try not to take personally, but I definitely did. And
Mm-hmm.
even the psychologist not talking to me, like I definitely took that personally as well. But yeah, like I was ready to give up many times, and then there would be moments where I would finally contact someone and they would tell me, like I met one girl who was working in the psychology association in Concordia, and she was there and she was really interested, and I'm still in touch with her, but she was like, yeah, don't give up. And that was like a bit of a motivation, and to me that was like the universe kind of speaking to me. And
Mhm.
then again, it happened where I formed another event, and again, like all the reservations were made, like it was full, and no one showed up. And so I was like, okay, maybe I should go back to the drawing board. And
Mm.
but at this point, I was starting to feel really drained. Like I was putting a lot of work and time into it, and I had like other stuff I wanted to do, like writing and whatnot. But then I was ready to give up again. And I was at the library, I was smoking, and a girl came up to me, asked me for a cigarette, and we started talking, and she told me that it took her like 3 years to find the right psychologist for her. And that's something like what I was making would be really good for her. And it was that other moment where the universe like kind of sent that to me. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And so I kept trying to go, and then it happened again where no one showed up, and then even she didn't show up. And so I was like, I don't know, at this point I was like a month into this process, and I was so drained. And
Mhm.
so that was like my heart wanted to give up, and it was like the universe kept telling me like don't give up, like keep going.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so right now I just decided like, okay, I'm not gonna give up, I'm gonna pause it, kind of reorganize everything. But it was like it just felt like, the world was telling me one thing and my heart was telling me something else, and I just could
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the story as quickly as possible. But
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say, like, I see you. I witness your devotion to your heart, to this work, to being of service to other people. Like, what an incredible resource and workshop and experience to have for students, right? And everything that you're going through right now, it's like, I feel that so deeply. Like, I want you to know, truly, I know you've been getting signs, but let me be yet another sign to say, don't give up. You're on the right path. But it's just that the path of walking in divine service is one that is windy, is one that is like, and the
mhm,
mind wants it to be like, oh, I had this idea, I just talked about it, and the whole room is full, and then everybody loves me, I'm done. But the true path of being this heart open, heart centered, integrous facilitator, leader, co-creator in the world requires us to be so deep in our body, to be so deep in our heart. And I would say that the divine mother especially, always wants to make sure that we're truly in our hearts and doing things for the right reasons. So, meaning that we're not doing it because, oh, it got the quick response. We're not doing it because, oh, people love me for it. But it's, are you willing to push through and persevere, even if you're not getting any evidence whatsoever externally that this is the right path for you? The only thing that's keeping you forward is that call in your heart that's like, I meant to do this. No, I feel this. No, but like, it's like, that undying fire inside that no matter how many times it gets smothered, you're like, but then you're like, oh, I'm gonna pick myself back up and I'm gonna do it again. I relate to that so much. That's like literally me and all of this work, even when I found the path of facilitating Kundalini activation, I've had sessions where nobody showed up. I've had sessions where I'm like, oh, this is so great. People are like, yeah, I'll be there. Nobody showed up. There have been cosmic rose honey meditations where I meditated alone and I shared the replay of that. Last year for my facilitator training, I had 5, 6 clients sign up, and then last minute, everyone couldn't make it to the training. So I had to cancel the whole training. So many different moments that in the moment, the human heart hurts. The human's like, F this, I'm not meant for this. This isn't going to work out. But trust me when I say each and every time on the other side, if you're willing to keep on going, you're going to find that the challenges are always there to shape you up. The heartbreaking disappointment are always there to get you deeper in your heart so that you're truly leading this path from a place of truth with yourself. And every single time, it's like so synchronistically, things are going to work out in the way that your mind did not expect it to, in the way that will actually create a lot of discomfort for your mind and your human. But that's actually what's necessary to develop your character, to shape you up to not just have one sellout workshop, but to shape you up to be someone who is going to be doing this in different forms of service and whatever your life purpose brings you to, but to do that over a lifetime. You know what I mean? So I know it's
mhm.
highly uncomfortable right now. I wish that there's a magic pill, a fast track. There isn't. But if you're willing to just feel all that discomfort, if you're willing to feel simultaneous to your disappointment, that love in your heart, the devotion, the courage, the strength, the resilience, that is going to take you so far.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mm. Oh, my pleasure. Yes. Thank you so much, Christian, for asking that question, because I think so many of us here can relate to that. You know, we have passion projects, things that our heart are pulling us to, but it doesn't necessarily materialize in real time. And, you know, one thing that I've always been, you know, very humbled by is even realizing, because I know for myself in the path of spiritual entrepreneurship and doing this work and seeing sometimes like on social media, it's like, oh, this person is so successful. They got these results. And me thinking that it should only take me 6 months. It should only take me a year. It should only take me 2 years. But if we look at any other field of work or just anything where people become very skilled, where they become very embodied in their work, it takes 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It takes like many, many years to study to become a surgeon, many, many years to study to become a lawyer. And it's the same thing for the heart centered work that we want to be sharing as well, is that it takes time. And that time that it takes, it's actually the most rewarding thing because it's building us to have the lived experiences to share the stories that are going to heal people, you know? So everything that you're going through right now, it's so valid. It's okay to be like, F you! To be like, I'm not going to do this. And then like 3 days later, you're like, okay, I'm back. What's next? And that surrender piece, you know, continuously softening and opening is going to be really helpful, which we'll practice in the meditation. Amazing. So grateful. Okay. So let me just pin myself now and then we'll get started on the meditation. I'll go through very quick review of what is the Cosmic Rose Honey meditation experience. So here, for some of you who have experienced KCA with me, the Kundalini Codes activation experience is more working with the life force element of Shakti. So it's more dynamic, it's more moving, it's more dancey. The Cosmic Rose Honey frequency is more of the consciousness aspect of Kundalini. So this is the downwards descending force of grace, encapsulating peace, love, truth, and bliss that descends from the cosmos above, from the Divine Mother, trickling through the crown of our heads and beginning to open our higher centers. So our crown, our third eye, our throat, our heart. And the only thing that we have to do during this meditation is just practice softening. Practice feeling yourself. My latest metaphor is the ice cream cone, as some of you know. Practice visualizing yourself and feeling yourself as like soft serve ice cream and looking at how much can I soften, how much can I allow this beautiful cosmic honey to drizzle on top of my soft serve ice cream. And so from this place, we're simply focusing on the different sensations in our body. If it helps you to have a visualization of the honey trickling in, you can always, with your eyes closed, turn your gaze towards the crown of your head, and with every breath in, feel yourself bringing in the energy. But if you don't want to focus on that, you don't even have to focus on that. You can just simply soften, come to your breath, notice the sensations in your body, and just opening yourself up more and more to receive, right? When we have that space created within us, the grace will have the space to flow in. So the meditation will be done in silence, preferably sitting up if possible, just making sure that you're well supported. If you need some props or a blanket or some kind of a backing to support your spine, that'll be really helpful. And then we just simply go inwards, sit in silence for 20 minutes, and I'll let you know when the meditation is over. Okay? So as we're starting now, it's 6:27, so the meditation will end 2 minutes later than planned at 6:47. If you do have to hop off right on time, it's totally okay. You can just log off and we'll see you next week. Okay? So let's get comfortable sitting tall. If you want to shake it out, move your head a little bit, let yourself get comfortable, lengthening through your spine, creating that spaciousness from the very base of your spine all the way up to the crown. Slightly tucking your chin in, creating that space in the back of your neck, relaxing your hands down, noticing your breath, noticing what you're feeling inside. Allow your breath to be natural, rhythmic, and deep, bringing all of your awareness inwards and remembering that your only job is to soften, is to melt, is to be, and to breathe. So we'll start the meditation now, and I'll let you know when it's over. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. Allowing yourself to slowly ground back into the space, this time. Bringing your consciousness a little bit more at a time into this plane of reality.